Hey there, Lon Kiefer, also known as Doc, the Defender of Caregivers. This is going to be a different video than a lot of what we've done. Yeah, have you ever started out to do something and it just didn't go the way you expected it would? So I've been doing these videos to try and... So I've been known as the Defender of Caregivers for quite some time. And before that, I was a humor-based speaker talking about leadership in healthcare, and people understood that. And then when I shifted over to Defender of Caregivers, people didn't understand that. And it meant a lot to me because of all the, the meaning behind the caregiver personality. And I'm already off topic here, explaining what I wanted to share in this video. But I've also had this love all my life for stand-up comedy. When I was in 1980, when I graduated high school, yeah, that's right. I'm at that point in my life where that seems so long ago. And I'm at an age where I'm looking at a transition in my life towards maybe one day to retirement, and I'm just looking at what really means things to me. This caregiver message means a lot to me, but I have more fun doing stand-up comedy, and I talk about caregivers in my comedy. So that's the avenue that I'm going to be exploring going forward. And there's going to be less about the caregivers, to the point where, it'll always be there. That message is always within my heart. But going forward, there's going to be less of this type of stuff, to the point where I'm even thinking about taking off these logos. And I'd like your opinion about that. There's a couple of advantages for it. But before I switch the camera around, I want to share this t-shirt with you. Excellent. With the real JohnnyWatson.com. Johnny Watson is a comic that has been generous enough to invite me to work with him at Dickens Parlor, which is a traditional magic theater that also does stand-up comedy near the Bethany and Rehoboth Beach here in Delaware. And our summer tour is going to start on Thursday, this Thursday, and we'll be doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday throughout the summer. And that's significant for a couple of reasons. When I started doing the logos on the RV, let's turn around and look at them a little bit here. How do I do this? I'm going to figure it out. Don't you worry. Well, maybe I'm not, so I'll hold it this way. When I started doing, when I got the van, the idea was that I would be touring with sharing my message that I had done for years. The van's filthy. It's embarrassing. It's another reason to take the logos off. So I was doing this program, Defending the Caregiver, and this goes back to 1996 when I started doing these things. The idea was that I would talk to caregivers in a humorous way and try and give them encouragement to take care of themselves and recognize some of the challenges that are coming their way. But what has happened, COVID wiped out live events, and I didn't get to use the RV the way I intended to. I still love the RV, and when I sit in it, I get very happy. It's just, it means so much to me. But I'm not using it to barnstorm, so to speak. And the fact that the logos are on it is presenting a little bit of a problem. For example, when I went to visit my daughter in Jacksonville the other day, I was allowed in her community, like the van is allowed in her community, but a work van is not. So the fact that it was logoed, they kicked us out. So when I was visiting with her, I couldn't use this as a vehicle. It was by definition in the logos on it. It was a work vehicle. It's more costly to register it because of the logos. And when it's filthy like it is right now, whatever positive I'm creating through the brand, I'm losing by not respecting my own brand, by keeping it clean. So long story short, I'm going to continue to do these videos, but they're going to be much more like this, less edited, less produced to tell a story. I'll still do some of those every now and then, but this is going to be more about talking about the transition that we all go through in our professional and personal lives, and how humor, the hashtag #LetHumorWork, how humor can help us along the way. And it's going to be less about that logo or forcing the caregiver angle on people. So much more comedy, much more humor, and just a message about how to transition with the use of humor moving forward in our lives. So that's the message that I hope to share. I am a man of a certain age. I am 60 now, and I know I don't look a day over 59, but you know, when I'm talking to financial planners and things like that about my future, I'm looking at life differently than I used to, and I imagine some of you are as well. So if we can share knowledge along the way, that's going to be the goal of some of these videos. One of the things that's very important is advanced directives and identifying who's going to make decisions for you. And I'm starting to sweat out here. Maybe it's because of the topic, but you know, I can tell people what to do and recommend them and have for years, but guess what? I'm a hypocrite because I haven't taken care of all of that stuff to the degree that I should. So I'm blessed now that my life professionally and personally is coming together. I've been rewarded with a position where I get to teach wellness through evidence-based programs, chronic disease, self-management, diabetes, falls prevention, something called bingo size, and matter of balance. And so my life has come in this latter stage of my career full circle, where my job and my vocation, my job and my avocation, my passion and hobbies have all come together. But this defender of caregivers thing is a bit confusing, and there's downsides to having it. So I'm thinking about peeling these labels off, and I'm curious if you would tell me what you think about that, whether I should leave them on or take them off. But it's not your problem. I'm going to make the decision on my own, but I'm really leaning towards taking them off. And from a truly I'm not going to expose myself, but from a self-exposure or sharing of self perspective, I'm also a little embarrassed sometimes, because all I did with this was confuse people a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, I've made some great relationships that I value to this day, but it's just, you know, it's time for a pivot. And I'm at a transition in life and career, so it might be time for this van, which I dearly love and can't wait to continue to use out there in the world, might also pivot along with me. And we're thinking about stripping off these logos. So if and when we do it, we'll videotape it and we'll share it. But in the meantime, thank you for being here. Thank you for caring, and let humor work. In everything you do, think also of you. Thank you for caring. Bye-bye now. Let humor work.